Hello, I am John Abbott, the producer and editor of a nostalgic oral history of Chalfont. Episode 2 is entitled Motorheads. It is a story of a bunch of young, ambitious Chalfont mechanics and a driver who actually built a stock car and raced it at Daytona Beach in the 1950s.
Hello, my name is Kevin Cadwallader. My dad is Richard Cadwallader. He was lived in Chalfont most of his life, but their claim to fame was that they went to the first nationals drag racing in 1955, and then they went to Daytona on the beach race in 1958, which was the last beach race that they had. And then he worked at Mark's Garage for many years, and then which was the hot dating spot. And then my Uncle Mark owned the garage. My Uncle John Greenlee worked there, and my Uncle Bob Rickert worked there also. And then yeah, even I worked there. And then the stock car, which was the 999. They left in February of '58 to go down to Daytona in a snowstorm, and they did very well.
Well, it was with Dick Cadwallader was the main man, the money and the know-how was Dick, and we worked together with it. And if it wasn't for Dick, we wouldn't have built it, because it was his shop, his tools, his know-how, and with a couple of us guys helping him. We thought ourselves as outlaws. The fathers of Chalfont, I don't think any of them ever went to a race, to tell you the truth. And we were sort of a different group of young fellows that, well, they grew up with farms and horses and tough times, I think, and we were sort of a little bit flamboyant for the times in that time of the 50s.
Where'd you work on the car in Chalfont?
At Dick Cadwallader's parents' place.
And where was that?
That was right there crossing the bank on Main Street in Chalfont, back the alley towards Good Cinder Block Factory. And there was a barn right behind their parents' house, and they were good enough to let us work there. And they let me work there when Dick was in the service, which was really something really special to me.
Where'd you get the money to buy a car and work on it?
That was a tough deal. We were always Dick was a banker. He always seemed to have money, and must have had worked hard and saved it. And I sort of just went along with the times. And if I had $100, I put it in the car instead of paying board to my mom, which I should have done and didn't. So it was one of them deals. I called stupid young kids at the time, but we had fun doing it.
The storm was awful heavy when we left, before we left Chalfont actually, and we had to get Eddie Horn's brother, which was Vernon. He had a bulldozer and he pushed this 202 open force up past the car wash and for the top of the hill gas station, and then again up by St. Jude's so we could get on the level. After that we were able to get going, and the way we went heading for Florida, well, we ran into a lot of snow between Chalfont and Virginia, where we finally did get out of the snow. The Baltimore tunnel was actually closed for no toll takers or anything else. And it was really a bad scene. And
there was a tunnel on Route 1, I believe, that was closed because it was closed because of snowstorm, but also because somebody died of monoxide poisoning. I believe we took the gate away and drove through it and come out the other side. And it's hard to remember just exactly how it happened, but then we ran into an Army soldier pulling a U-Haul, was stuck in the snow on the other side. And it was really bad snow. The guy was really hurt. He had a family and headed, I guess, to one of the bases down there, but we got him out and gone again on the wrong side of the highway, because the road was closed, nobody on it, but the north side was open for some reason. We were traveling down the north side on the Route 1 4-lane stretch there below Wilmington into Richmond. Got to Richmond, and south of Richmond the sun came out and the roads cleared, and we made it to Florida.
How old were you then?
Well,
20?
I'm 58, 55, about 19, I guess, 18, 19, somewhere around there. My mother had a stroke because we were going to go, but I left anyway.
And where were the time trials at Daytona?
On the beach, on the fabulous Daytona Beach. And it's a 2-mile southbound run, and anybody can do it. Anybody has a car wants to see check their speed, you do it, but they did it that day just for the race cars. The time trial, we went 110 mile an hour, which got you in the race, but it wasn't good enough to race with, and Dick tuned it up a little bit, and we went a lot faster during the race. The race course was Bill France established it somehow with his know-how to block off the south end of Daytona, a 2-mile stretch of macadam driveway. You went south 2 miles on a stretch, crossed over to the beach on a sort of a bank turn he built, and then back 2 miles on the beach to the northbound turn, back on the macadam. And the macadam was sort of, if you live in Chalfont, it was sort of like running 152 or them roads where you got bumps and humps and bumps, and you sort of went to the air a little bit when you were going on it, but you were really flying. On the gas engine, flathead Ford, which was the only one in the race, I think. Everybody had the new, more modern overhead valve motors, which those made more horsepower, easier to work on, easier to build, but Dick built this motor. It really did have the horsepower.
My dad had an opportunity to either go to Doylestown High School or Lansdale High School, and he chose Lansdale for whatever reason. And then they had a car club there. It was called the Night Rodders, which I guess North Penn is the Marching Knights, so hence I guess was the name. And I think actually he was the president of the club. And then they had organized races here and there, drag races, where they went as a group. And then there's a business card from the Night Rodders that said that if their rules were to, if they saw a stranded motorist, that they were supposed to stop and help them. And then they would hand them the card saying that they were helped by the Night Rodders. And the Hot Rodders back in those days, they got a bad rap for drag racing on the streets and such. So this was one way to improve their appearance so that people wouldn't be as mad at them. He went and ran A-Gas, and he was the winner of the A-Gas in 1955.